Hello, everyone. A very warm welcome to all of you in today's first session for the 18th ASEEC Classroom Network faculty collaboration. And as usual, the way we do it, a very good morning to those of you who are joining us from Europe, and to those of you who are joining us from Asia, a very good afternoon. This year's topic is on effective, inclusive, and ethical artificial intelligence in education design. And we are very grateful and very excited to have a great pool of fellows. Thank you so much for accepting our invitations and join these meaningful initiatives. And later, you will also get to hear from each other. Now, allow me to very briefly introduce the agenda for today. So today we will have first a brief welcome remarks to kick off the project officially by Asia Europe Foundation's Deputy Executive Director, Mr. Zhang Lei. And then we have four inspiring and brilliant advisors who have been working with us to form this project and to guide us throughout this design phase. And they have been also with us as fellows before, so you will get to hear from them. And then we will very briefly share about Asia Europe Foundation. Some of you are familiar with the organization, some of you are not, so hopefully this will give you a very quick overview. And then we will also share about the ASEEClassNet project, and then very briefly, overview of the fellows' profiles. And then we will dig deeper into the project, ASEEClassNet18 Faculty Collaboration Project. And we will pause for a group photo, then we will go into breakout rooms where you will get to know your peers. Not everybody, but at least some who will be present in your room. And then we will close the session with a few question and answers, depending on if there are any issues that you would like us to clarify or any comments and suggestions that you may have. Now with that, allow me to invite our Deputy Executive Director, Mr. Zhang Lei, to give his official welcome remarks. Mr. Zhang, the floor is yours.
Good morning to friends in Europe and good afternoon to friends in Asia. And dear friends, it is a great pleasure to join you today at the opening of this important program, which brings together dedicated academics, researchers, and teacher trainers from across Asia and Europe. On behalf of Asia and Europe Foundation, I'm truly honored to officially kick off this program. First and foremost, a big thank you for signing up and making the time to be part of this initiative. As we gather here across borders, disciplines, and time zones, we are united by a common purpose: to shape the future of education in an age defined by rapid technological transformation. The integration of AI into education is accelerating, prompting critical questions about its impact on pedagogy, equity, and ethics. It is already influencing the ways we learn, teach, assess, and connect. But as we embrace its potential, we must also engage with its complexities. The questions we ask today will determine the kind of learning environments we create tomorrow. How can AI empower rather than replace educators? How do we ensure that AI serves all learners, regardless of background or ability? And how do we uphold the ethical principles that are fundamental to education itself: equity, agency, and most importantly, human dignity? A unique strength of this fellowship lies in its intercultural dialogue. When we bring together voices from Asia and Europe, we do more than exchange of knowledge. We challenge assumptions, uncover new perspectives, and create space for deeper understanding. In a global education landscape shaped by different values, contexts, and histories, such dialogue is essential, not only for innovation, but for equity and mutual respect. At ASEF, we are deeply proud to facilitate such a platform. We believe that real change comes not from isolated efforts, but from communities like this, diverse, thoughtful, and committed to shared learning. You are at the forefront of this important journey. Your insights, experiences, and creativity will help define what effective, inclusive, and ethical AIED looks like, not just in theory, but in practice, in classrooms and in policies that reach across Asia, Europe, and beyond. So I invite you to be bold in your ideas, generous in your collaboration, and reflective in your practice. Let this be a space where we not only question what's possible, but co-create what's necessary. And I would like to take a moment to sincerely thank our partners and supporters. Beijing Normal University, the International Research Center on Artificial Intelligence under the auspices of UNESCO at the Joseph Stephen Institute in Slovenia, and all our ASEF member countries for making this possible, with special thanks to China, Japan, Denmark, and the Netherlands for their generous financial contributions. Thank you again. I wish you an inspiring and enriching experience.
Thank you so much, Mr. Zhang, for your thoughtful remarks and for officially kicking off this program. We deeply appreciate your time. Thank you for being here with us today. Now we will move on to the second official welcome remarks. My apologies in the beginning for not clarifying. We have another official welcome remarks from Beijing Normal University from the Center for Future of Education, Professor Du. Professor Du, the floor is yours.
Okay, dear Mr. Zhang Lei, dear colleagues, fellows, and partners, I'm Du Yuhong from Beijing Normal University, College of Education for Future. So, on behalf of the College of Education for Future at Beijing Normal University, I would like to extend a warm welcome to all of you joining the 18th Asia Europe Foundation ClassNet faculty collaboration programs. I think that it's a very good opportunity to our college to add the co-host of this project, because our college was founded in a very clear mission to explore the forward-thinking education research and innovation. Especially, we are concerned about AI, ethics, and global collaboration intersects. So that's why we are so proud to co-organize these initiatives, because it's perfectly aligned with our mission. So, Professor Yuan Li from our college told me about the plan for this collaboration program. I know over the next few months, you will have the chance to engage in meaningful cross-cultural discussions, to work together on impactful research, and help to shape a global conversation on how we can use AI in education more ethically, more inclusively, and more effectively. So I think it's very wonderful work and very fascinating. So we encourage you to make the most of this opportunity, not only just to get knowledge from that, but also to build a lasting partnership across Asia and Europe. So we are especially excited to meet all of you in person, because we will have a international conference in November in Zhuhai. So we, at that time, will celebrate your work and strengthen our connection even further. So as a host in the conference, and we expected to meet you in person in November. So thank the Asian Europe Foundation. Thank all of you to join these programs. Thank you being part of this journey to find a perfect way to integrate AI into the education. So we are thrilled to have you with us in November. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Du. We deeply appreciate the support we have been receiving from Beijing Normal University. And because of the support that we are receiving, it's possible for us to have this program in collaboration with your institution. So thank you for all the support, and also thank you for your thoughtful remarks and for officially kicking off this project today. Now it's my pleasure to introduce our brilliant advisors who have been relentlessly working with us to design this project, as well as to plan all the program elements with us. Allow me to briefly share my screen again. So we have equal Asia-Euro balance and equal gender balance. This is something sometimes we struggle with. So from Asia, we have Professor Li Wen, who has been instrumental to drive this project since Beijing Normal University is hosting, and she took the initiative to have the conversation with Beijing Normal University and organize the on-site conference in November in China. So thank you so much, Professor Li Wen. And then we have Professor Miki Sugimura from Sophia University, Japan. She's also the president and UNESCO chair for Education for Human Dignity, Peace, and Sustainability. And then from Europe, we have Professor Wayne Holmes from UCL Knowledge Lab, University College London from United Kingdom. And then from Estonia, we have Professor Margus Pedast. He's the head of Pedagogicum and also professor of educational technology and innovation from University of Tartu. I must highlight that these four esteemed advisors, they have been the participant of our first faculty collaboration project. All of them were highly committed, and they have contributed in a way that shaped this project. And because of that, we invited them to be advisors last year. And as a result of that, we have now a much more formed project that is much more meaningful for academics, researchers, and teacher trainers. So without further ado, allow me to please first invite Professor Li Wen to give her inspirational remarks. And then please, Professor Miki Sugimura, prepare. And then we will invite Professor Wayne Holmes. Professor Margus Pedast will give the closing thoughts at the end of this session. So Professor Li Wen, the floor is yours.
Hello. Hi. Hi, good morning and good afternoon and good evening, everyone. It's great pleasure to be here today, join both longtime colleagues and friends and new collaborators. So over the past 2 years, being part of the ASEEClassNet program has been an incredibly rewarding experience. Through engaging with teaching innovation projects, especially it has been connected me with passionate educators and researchers from across Asia and Europe, and gave me opportunity to learn from a rich diversity of ideas, culture, and perspectives on using AI in education. Before joining BNU, I have spent over 20 years doing research on education technology in the UK and Europe. So I came to appreciate just how differently countries approach innovation in teaching and learning. Each context has its own challenges and insights, make me realize how important for us to work together, share openly, and co-create the future we want to see. So that's why at College of Education for the Future here, we established the Center for Connective Intelligence in Education, a space designed to foster international and interdisciplinary collaboration. We believe that innovation in education don't happen in isolation. To truly unlock the potential of AI, we need to connect policymakers, developers, researchers, educators, and learners and parents should be all involved in this process. So working with ASEEC on this program has been really valuable in helping us move forward in that direction. It brings us together to exchange ideas and co-design AI system tools in education that are both innovative and human-centered. The theme of this year's faculty collaboration on effective, inclusive, and ethical AI in education design is so timely and urgent. Doesn't matter where you are, we all say AI is rapidly transforming the way we live, work, and learn. So with this new technology come powerful tools and exciting possibilities, but also with more important responsibilities. As we move forward, we must ask ourselves some critical questions. Is AI truly reaching and benefiting all learners? Are we using it in ways that are fair, ethical, and safe? Are we making sure AI supports rather than replaces the human relationships that are so central to education? So these are not just the technical and theoretical concerns. They are deeply human ones. And we demand thoughtful, inclusive conversations like the one we are starting here together. So this program offers us a unique opportunity to work across the disciplines, the cultures, and to challenge each other's thinking, and to co-create theoretical, practical, and meaningful solutions. Of course, as you may know, one of the concrete outcomes of this program will be a collective contribution to the United Nations University Book Series on AI and sustainable development. As a community, I hope what we build here can go much further than that. What we start in this program continues through new partnerships, projects, and conversations that help shape how AI is used in classroom across our regions. I hope that we all have a meaningful, creative, and inspiring experience in the coming months. More exciting in November, as Professor Du mentioned, we will all meet face-to-face for the program meeting and take part in the international conference on AI in education and engaging with the Chinese Education Innovation Expo in Zhuhai. I'm looking forward to welcome you at our beautiful BAU Zhuhai campus in the heart of the Great Bay Area of China. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Li Wen, for your thoughtful remarks and for setting the stage for the critical conversation on AI and education. Now we are moving to Japan. Professor Miki Sugimura, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jyoti. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. I'm Miki Sugimura from Sophia University in Tokyo, in Japan. I'm very, very honored and happy to be here because our Sophia University hosted the previous ClassNet, which was held in 2019. At that time, our topic was Education for Sustainable Development and AI. And since then, I was very happy to work with the ASEEC education team, Jyoti, Luca, and Anji. And of course, now we are very happy to welcome the new Deputy Executive Director, Mr. Zhang Lei. And this time, the Beijing Normal University College of Education for the Future, the Professor Du, and also now the wonderful speech from Professor Lee. You organized and took over this another wonderful journey of the ASEEClassNet. I really like the ASEEClassNet activities because now the Professor Lee already mentioned it. This is a wonderful the interdisciplinary, transdisciplinary approach among the teachers or faculty members. But not only teachers and faculty members, students are very happy to learn from the learning output or research output from this ClassNet. ClassNet wonderful activities because this is also very closely related to the UNESCO, some ESD, or some international education researchers focusing on the education for sustainable development or global citizenship education. Now, the UNESCO roadmap focused on the 5 pillars: the policy, curriculum, youth, and whole community approach and whole school approach. But all the factors are always managed by the faculty members or trainers or teachers or facilitators and educators. But in that sense, educators' role or faculty role should be very, very important when we promote the Sustainable Development Goals or ESD or Global Citizenship Education through the transdisciplinary or interdisciplinary approach. So this time we are focusing on the effective, inclusive, and ethical AI in education design. And now the AI is a very, very important hot topic, and we have a different or various approach to this important topic. But I think the more important point is how the educators or faculty members can think about the AI's role, and not just for AI education, but AI in education should be very, very important. Our advisory board quite often discuss this point. That means, if possible, I also would like to learn with you together and work together. So thank you very much for giving me for another wonderful opportunity for me also, and looking forward to this great journey to another ClassNet development. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Sugimura, and also for reminding us about the ASEEClassNet 15. For everyone's reference, that was the first project when we actually started to focus on AI and education. And it would not have been possible, and all the journeys that took place since then without Professor Sugimura's support and that conference back in 2019. So for that, again, thank you very much. And also thank you for all the support that you have been providing, all the guidance you have been providing, and for your thoughtful remarks today. And now we will move on from the Asian advisors to our European advisor. Now it's my pleasure to invite Professor Wayne Holmes from UCL Knowledge Lab, University College London, to share his inspirational remarks. Professor Holmes, the floor is yours.
Well, thank you so much. I also should mention I work with the International Research Centre for AI, which is based in Slovenia, who've also been working with ASEV. But I've been working with ASEV and ASEEClassNet for several years, and it's always been a huge pleasure. And the year before last, we were part of, I think it was the inaugural faculty collaboration, and we were one of 7 groups. And for me personally, the research I've been doing, I've been talking a lot about critical studies of AI and education. But I've been talking a lot and I had not been doing a great deal. But thanks to the collaboration in ClassNet with the other faculty members, and particularly because of the support of the ASEV team, and Jyoti, frequently emailing me, but it's because of that and because of the collaboration that we ended up hosting, it's now 18 months ago, an online symposium on critical studies of AI and education, and that was supported both by ASEV and also the International Research Centre from Slovenia. And for that, we invited about 50 people that we knew who we thought might be interested in critical studies of AI and education. But we had 650 registrations, and we had 350 who actually turned up for most of the whole day, and they came from 61 countries. Now, on that event, we had 2 keynote speakers, one from Europe, one from Asia. We had a panel discussion with 5 excellent panelists, literally from around the world. And then in the afternoon, we had breakout sessions where we discussed who and how we might take things forward. Now, following that, we did a survey of the registrants, and we're finally about to finish and submit a paper based on that. In addition, we're about to submit a handbook comprising 30 chapters, again from around the world. And I've become another UNESCO chair with ASEECla in Slovenia on the ethics of AI and education. And my point of, I'm not bragging about this, I'm telling you all this because this has all really been supported and helped at every step of the way by ASEV, but through this faculty collaboration. Turning anyway to this year's project theme, effective, inclusive, and ethical AI, intelligent education design. Well, as you can guess from my interests, I think this is really important. And I'm absolutely sure that if you put the time in, put the effort in, you are going to get a great deal from your future collaborations over the coming months. And the aim is always, for me, is to help ensure that AI in education always prioritizes and promotes human rights, democracy, human dignity, and social agency. So at the end here of my inspirational remarks, I hope you're all inspired by what I've said. But I just have one thing that I want to finish with. In all of your work over the coming months, personally, I just urge you to be critical. Thank you very much. And I really wish you a fantastic set of collaborations.
Thank you so much, Professor Holmes. And we are very proud of what you have achieved through this faculty collaboration project and also the ongoing work that you were involved in as well with various organizations. And I hope for everyone, what you have just heard from Professor Holmes, if you are committed to the project, there are a lot of scopes, a lot of interesting initiatives are happening around the world. And if we join forces together, work together, you can really drive the AI and education innovation to the right direction. So thank you again, Professor Holmes, for highlighting that and also for sharing your thoughts about being critical in terms of approaching AI in education activities. Now, allow me to please kindly share my slides again so that we can share more about the project's information about the organization as well as the project. I hope everyone can see our slides. Okay, I see a lot of nodding. Thank you. So we will hear from Professor Margus Pedasti at the end of this session. So we will get, and then we will have some closing thoughts from the advisors. Now, about ASEF and ASEEClassNet project. So the organization was funded in 1997, and it's an intergovernmental organization that is based in Singapore. And it's funded by voluntary contributions from our member countries. And our main goal is to facilitate bi-regional knowledge exchange and peer-to-peer collaboration like this one. And through our work, we connect civil society organizations and government across Asia and Europe to drive meaningful activities across different disciplines. For example, for this project, education, we also have governance, sustainable development, culture, media, so on. If you want to know more, you can always go to our website and check for more information. So we are very glad that from these 51 member countries from across Asia and Europe, we already have 29 of them represented in this project. And we have, in addition to these member countries, 2 other organizations, European Union and ASEAN Secretariat as part of our member. Now, so my name is Jyoti Rahman. My apologies, I forgot to introduce myself in the beginning. I was very excited to welcome you all. I am the project lead for education innovation at the Asia Europe Foundation's Education Department, and I coordinate the ASEEClassNet project and ASEF Teaching and Learning projects initiatives together with my colleague, Ms. Angie Tho. She's the senior project manager and also at the Education Department. And sincere apologies from our colleague, Ms. Rekha Toshas. She couldn't be here today. She's the director of the Education Department at the Asia Europe Foundation, and a lot of what we do is driven by her excellent leadership and guidance. And very briefly on the history of our project and also, the achievements we had. The ASEEClassNet project, or the Teaching and Learning Program, actually was introduced right after the organization was funded, so 1 year later in 1998. And very fortunately, we are very grateful that this has been one of the longest running and most successful project at the Asia Europe Foundation. And during this time, over 2 decades, right, we realized that we really need to bridge the gap between teachers, school leaders, and teacher trainers, academics, and researchers. So with that thought in mind, in 2023, we first launched the ASAP Faculty Collaboration Project. And so far, we have ran it for now 2 years. And now this is the 3rd year that we are running this project. And hopefully from next year, it can be a project of its own. We will update everyone in due time. And also, ASEEClassNet is the one and only platform for 50 ASEF countries for teachers, academics, researchers, and school leaders. This is the only network that exists in ASEF country for these target groups. And for the ASEEClassNet project that has been running for a long time, we work together over 2,000 teachers and through them over 40,000 students. So every year we typically invite about 100. Some years we have more teachers than, some years we have a bit less, depends on situations. But the faculty collaboration project is relatively new, and so far we have worked over 60 academics, researchers, and teacher trainers. Most of them are coming from higher education institutions and mainly from Faculty of Education or Department of Education. And teacher trainers are coming mainly from Ministry of Education, Associated Teacher Training Academy, or an institution. Just to highlight, in just last 3 years from our ASEEClassNet school collaboration track, there have been over 100 innovative teaching practices, and from the faculty collaboration, over 10 diverse project proposals. This year, we are moving a bit, we are moving away from the projects to more publication, and hopefully, although we are only focusing on publication, our participants can generate spin-off projects like Professor Wayne Holmes did, that we hope will stem from the work that you do collaboratively with each other. The key goal for the ASEEClassNet faculty collaboration is to facilitate and foster intercultural connectivity and partnerships across Asia and Europe. That is also the goal of our organization. So this project's first goal is aligned with that. And then through this project, our key goal is to raise awareness and build knowledge and competencies on contemporary education issues, for example, now on AI and education. For this project track, particularly issues that affect K-12 teacher education for this faculty collaboration track. Our goal is also to advance international education efforts and empower academics, researchers, teacher trainers through peer-to-peer dialogues and resource creation for this track. For example, some international efforts that we have been supporting and promoting are education for sustainable development, climate change education, and now AI and education. Now, you'll be very happy to hear from us that we have equal number of fellows from Asia and from Europe. So we have 52 fellows on board from 29 Asian and European countries, almost equal balance, 14 from Asia, 14 countries from Asia, 15 countries from Europe. Although the countries are less, but in terms of the fellow representation from the region, we have pretty much equal, we have actually exactly equal number of Asians and Europeans. This is very, we have another project track that we just had welcome session 2 days ago, and we had the opposite of male-female balance. For that one, we had 68% female and 32% male. But now in this one, we have 65% male and 35% female. Gender balance is a big part of our work as well. We try to achieve, so at least through this 2 track, we have, hopefully, we achieved that a little bit. Now, focusing a bit more closely on the ASEEClassNet faculty collaboration project. Of course, our goal is to advance the Sustainable Development Goal 4, and through this track, particularly contributing towards strengthening teacher education across all ASEF countries. And this time, of course, we're focusing on effective, inclusive, and ethical AI in education, because from our previous participants cohort, we learned that they are really interested to learn more about effectiveness, inclusivity, and ethical aspects of AI in their teaching and learning. Briefly about each topics. For effectiveness, we highly encourage you to explore issues like relevance of different types of AI tools, safety issues, and classroom impact of cutting-edge AI technologies that are making their way into education sector. And of course, please focus this in the context of your own role. Some of you are teacher trainers, some of you are academics, some of you are department head. So you hold various roles, and in that role, you have different capacity to drive meaningful conversation. So please focus in the context of your own role when you approach this. Same for the other two as well. Focusing, the context is your role. And for inclusion, we highly encourage you to focus on how, if stakeholders and users are not careful, how AI can unintentionally reinforce biases and exclude certain learners. And most importantly, ethics is very important for us. And also we believe that for meaningful AI and innovation, AI and education innovation, ethics is absolutely crucial. And for this, we want to focus on data privacy, transparency, and responsible AI use and its impact on educational settings. That's why we designed the program in a way where you can have dialogues and you can have conversations with each other, understand different initiatives in your respective countries and countries of your fellows to really drive the conversation to the right direction. And for that, I have just mentioned, and also our advisors highlighted as well, to critically examine AI in education, so AI tools through the lenses of these three key topic areas. And future-proofing teacher education, mainly when we talk about future-proofing teacher education, we mean giving voices to the teachers that you are working with, either through your training that you conduct for teachers or through your academic and research work that you do to strengthen teacher education for AI. And one of the key role that you will play in this project is contributing to a book chapter on AI and sustainable development that will be published together with United Nations University. And the goal is to, of course, showcase innovative insights, research findings, and practical strategies. All in all, the key goal is to really shape the global discourse on AI in education in a meaningful and in a ethical and safe way. Now, on the program elements, we designed it in a way so that it accommodates your time and effort in a more flexible way, because we know teacher trainers and academics, you have a lot of responsibilities and your schedules are very busy. So we only designed one session per week and also an independent phase so that you can have, in terms of your commitment and responsibilities, it serves you well. So beginning from today, we will, so today's session, and then we have a few cross-faculty dialogue session where we will have official sessions and teamwork. And then I will explain a bit more step by step in a moment. And then, so between May to June, after the cross-faculty dialogue phase, we will move on to an independent phase. This is where you will independently collaborate with each other in small teams, and that will last from July till October. And then after this, of course, we will meet in person in Zhuhai, China for the on-site conference. Now, starting from the cross-faculty dialogue from next week, we will mainly focus on pitching and team forming. So as you have completed the registration form, there you have seen that we had the options for either leading a book chapter or joining a book chapter team. So some of you have shared your interest to lead a book chapter, and some of you just contributing to a book chapter. We have gathered all these insights, and we will prepare all the signups and all the steps before the next week's session and share this with you through an email update. We will mainly use a Google folder and live Google documents to keep track of teams as well as the progresses. And also when you are in your own team, you can decide what platform to use to work efficiently within your team. So as you can see from here, we have about 27% of you who would like to lead a book chapter. We will, of course, consult this with our advisors, and then we will get back to you if you have been chosen to lead a book chapter or to contribute to a book chapter. And as you can see, majority of you want to co-author a book chapter. And some of you are not sure yet, that's okay. I think when we get to the team forming, then you will have better ideas. And if your ideas change in terms of leading or contributing, please do let us know as soon as possible so that we can factor that into our consideration. So the exciting part of the topic, from ASEEF side, we have proposed some key areas that are very strongly related to the topic. An overview on AI at landscape mapping, and then very specifically on effective AI tools in education, inclusive and ethical AI tools in education. And then, of course, the decision makers, policy governance frameworks, and of course, monitoring and evaluation, monitoring and impact evaluation. And we also kept the option open for you to propose as others. And in that section, we have received a lot of interesting ideas. And these are some of the repetitive ideas that we have seen from across a lot of fellows. The first one is very crucial: explainable and transparent AI in education, adverse effects of AI in education, AI for collective intelligence education, agency, that's very important, and AI in education. I will not repeat all of this, but if you are interested, you can either take a quick screenshot or photo so that you can also have this for your information. We will also share the slides with you. So in case you don't want to take any notes now, that's also okay. And after the teaming, we will move on to a different types of format for the cross-faculty dialogues. And as you can see, if I go back, our first cross-faculty dialogue is on 22nd of May, and then you have 1 week off. So during this 1 week, we also need time to basically consolidate all the teaming information and also for your own team introduction. So we kept that flexibility so that within that time, if you need any help, if your team members are not, for example, for a school, we have this issue, often some team members are not responsive, or there are sometimes team changes. So for that, we kept that time. So from second cross-faculty dialogue session to the last one, we will have 2 parts. Part 1 will be in a plenary style, where we will invite all the teams to come together, share progress and any key challenges that they are facing or any key insights that they would like to share with everyone. And also if they want to get feedback from the other fellows that are not in their team. And in part 2, we want to give you the flexibility to already think about your work because publication and authoring, it takes time. So hope that from 5th June onwards, you can already discuss among the team members the topic you would like to address and the chapter that you want to write together. And we will share more information about how this is going to take place. But of course, you have the option for part 2, have your own sessions with your team members. And then after the last session on 19 June, we will basically open the independent phase. And we know it's in Europe, summer holiday is huge. So we kept that gap. After 19th June, you can have a short break. And then from July, beginning of July, it will be basically an independent phase where only the smaller teams will work with each other. We will, of course, keep track of every team and reach out if any support is needed or if we can help in any way. We recognize that although this is an independent phase, it will be better to have feedback and hear from all the teams. So for that reason, we organized a group session where all the teams will come together. For now, it's Thursday, 18 September. I must highlight that there is a chance that it might change because of the conference for our school collaboration track. So if that changes, we will inform you as soon as possible, but it will take place sometime during this week in September. And the next step will be an in-person meeting where the key responsibilities will include having the first draft of your publication ready, book chapter ready, and share this with the other fellows and receive feedback to improve it. And of course, at the end of this conference, finalize your all the content for your chapter for the editorial team's review. So the editorial team consists of the advisors and a representative from the ASEEClassNet team. And after we gather all the content in November, the editorial team will work, and then the publication is planned to launch during the welcome session of next year's fellowship. So in May, we haven't decided on the date yet, but once we know, of course, we will keep you posted. And here, of course, we will create an opportunity for you some of you to showcase the work that you have done for your book chapter to inspire the next edition of our fellows. I think before we go to the breakout rooms, we can pause here for a group photo. But I think let me very briefly highlight this. So those of you who are invited to this project, we want to take all of you to the on-site conference. However, we want to make sure that everyone is committed, everyone is contributing to teamwork. So if there are any cases that any fellow is not contributing as expected, we will unfortunately not be able to take those fellows to the conference. So the commitment and the quality of the book chapter, it really matters in terms of this conference participation. I'm going to stop sharing my screen so that we can have the group photo. If I may request everyone to turn on their camera, and I think I will take first the first page, and then we have 2 pages second. So I am preparing. So I will count from 3 to 1, and then when I say 1, all of you have to smile. 3, 2, 1. Okay, we have the first page, and then we will move on to the next one. Allow me to quickly save this. Okay, done. Now we will move on to page 2. So if you could smile again, 3, 2, 1. Okay, we have the group photos. Thank you so much. And I'll put up my slides again. So now we want to get you into a scenario where you already start talking to each other for better peer-to-peer interaction. We often have fun questions for our other track, but this is the target group is a bit heavy. All of you are academics, researchers, and teacher trainers. So we thought we will try to come up with something that is a bit more relevant for your role. And also you will have fun discussing as well with each other. So when we create the breakout room, you will have a few fellows in your room. Because of the time, it's not possible for us to hear from everyone together. Apologies for that. If you could discuss in 30 seconds, first you will introduce yourself, name, country, and what you do in your role. And the first one is very important for ASAF and the work that we do, because our work is heavily intercultural since we work with participants from 50 countries. How do you incorporate global or intercultural perspectives in your, if you are a researcher, in research, or in your teaching, or in teacher training, if you are a teacher trainer? And the second one is more related to the topic. What's a challenge in the AI and education field you wish more people talked about? And when you go to the group, we would be grateful if you could select a representative first so that the representative can take notes from the discussion. And then when we come back together, then you can share with the bigger group so that although we might not be able to join all the group, that we can at least hear from every group. I will give you 2 minutes. And in these 2 minutes from our side, we will prepare the breakout rooms, and also you have some time to think about your responses for these 2 questions. So we have about 33 minutes left for this session. And your breakout room discussion will be for about 15 minutes. And then when we come back, then we will hear from everyone. So now allow me to open the room. So we have 7 rooms in total. And each room we have about 7 or 6, depending on the room. Before I open the room, may I check, are you all ready with your responses? Because you have 30 seconds. Okay, I see some of you are smiling, meaning I hope that you are ready. Now I'm going to open the room. Good luck. And before we close the room, we will broadcast a message that you have 1 minute. And then after 1 minute, we will bring everyone back to the main room. Okay, we have everybody in the main room. I hope you all had a lovely conversation, and also through that brief conversation and sharing, you got to know about each other's work a bit better, and also have probably some ideas already. I saw in some rooms you were already discussing partnership and reaching out to each other to discuss more. So that was very exciting. Now we have about we have some time left, about 12 minutes actually, to close this session. So before that, each group representative have 1 minute to share the key takeaways. So everybody knows what happened in each breakout room. Anyone wants to volunteer, or I can go by groups? Let's see who is the brave one.
Ajita.
Okay, Ajita, go ahead.
Yeah, okay. Hi, everyone. We were in breakout room number 7. And please excuse me if I still am not able to pronounce everyone's names properly. So we had Thierry Jeff, who's from Luxembourg University. He specializes in primary school linguistics, games, and would like to work on AI for universal access, diversity, and ethics, specifically because he said that we are dealing with children. Then we have Vido from Hungary, who's an associate professor. The main concern that he has brought up is in Hungary, there is, what he sees is the segregation of students as per their disability, and he would want to work to use AI to avoid this type of segregation. And another thing that he has brought up is the local educational system, and he would love to have a national AI system because the school education system and the education system in Hungary is quite different. Then we have Imre from University of Nova Gorica, dean from computer science, and we all know how largely they contribute to OERs and AI. So the main concern that he brought out was the use of sensitive data that comes in, and also about how the European Act is going to be implemented into legislation and how to use it properly. Then we have Tham from Vietnam, again, who's a teacher educator and works in education and comes from environmental sciences and AI in education. His main concern is about the ethical use of AI, responsible use of AI for verification. That's the concern. And he's also planning to work on the dependency of AI to reduce thinking skills is a concern for him, and he would like to expand his work. I hope I have not missed out anything from the group, whatever was mentioned. And I myself come from India, a very diverse country with more than 22 languages. So we have been using AI for increasing access, But the main concern is teacher awareness with respect to responsible use of AI. Therefore, I would like to expand it into responsible use of AI as well. Thank you. I think I did well in 1 minute.
Thank you so much, Ajita. Yes, you did very well. Now, moving on to the next group. Anyone would like to volunteer? I saw Carlo. Yes, Carlo, go ahead.
Hello, I'll try to summarize what we've discussed. By the way, in our breakout room 1, we have, of course, me from the Philippines. We have Nahid from Bangladesh, Tim from Austria, Wu from China, and Zeng from China and UK. But we've talked about in terms of incorporating intercultural perspectives in our works. We've talked about of course, maximizing online modality for collaboration, ensuring inclusivity in teaching. Most of us are also doing collaborative research with partners from different countries, and of course, incorporating global practices. And then common challenges that we wish people talk about in terms of AI in education. Of course, number 1 also is ethics. How can we use it ethically and safely? Evaluation, how do we know if it is effective? And for us educators, it is also interesting to think about the new ways of teaching and assessment, especially in this era in which use of AI is very rampant. We also talk about or shared about the digital divide. How can we ensure access, actually not just in AI but in technology in general in education? And of course, AI and critical thinking abilities of our students, especially that one of us is exploring dialogue teaching, how AI can assist in critical thinking. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carlo. We have 2 hands raised. Laura, and then, okay, we'll go to Laura first. But before that, I just want to give a shout out to Carlo. Carlo was our alumni from the first faculty collaboration project. And last year, actually, his institution hosted the ASEEClassNet18 conference. So thank you so much for that, Carlo. Laura, the floor is yours.
Thank you, and I'm very happy to see Carlo as well again. So we were in group 2, if I remember correctly, and we were from Norway, Cyprus, Thailand, Slovakia, and Hungary. 4 ladies and 1 gentleman. And concerning the experience, we had also young researchers with little experience and also very experienced colleagues. So we are active in different fields of artificial intelligence and education, from curriculum design, teachers training, primary teacher training, strategy developing, and also like the ethical use of AI in teacher training. So these are the various fields we're coming from. And what's concerning us right now is that more people in our group were afraid that using AI will make students and users lazy. If I want to put it harshly, as someone said in the group, stupid. So they forgot to use their brain, and they rely on AI too much, too heavily. Also, there is unconsciousness in the use of AI, so it's not a conscious wise use of artificial intelligence on the side of students, and also segregation was another topic we are concerned about, that using AI education is going to widen the gap already existing between different social groups. And also, like, what is missing for us, that it's like a coordinated, systematically built up information on AI in education. So that's all from our side.
Thank you so much, Laura, for sharing. Now we are moving on to the next group. Arif, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank
Please,
you.
yeah, next.
Thank you. I'm coming from group number 5, the breakout, which is consists of May from Yangon University of Myanmar, and then Matthew from Beijing Normal University, Atsushi Takahashi from Sophia University, and then me myself from Indonesia University of Education. Basically, we talk each other and then inspiring each other related with the many aspects. Let's say May more focusing on the cross-cultural study, and then how culturals and things and looking different perspective, and then including her previous research about emotional expression in ASEAN and Western countries. And I think this will be a good background to put into the AI research. And also Matthew, we discussed about how AI, which is bring a huge of data around the world, and then how to live both interculturally. And then we emphasize, especially from Matthew, that is not only intermutual understanding, but also AI lead to the global understanding. And Atsushi more focusing on the media learn in education. And then from that side, we might see that how AI can be used not only as the one-way media, but the two-way media, not only for knowledge acquisition, but how AI to be robust into the inquiry. And then me, myself, as I'm involved in the Ministry of Education to design AI in the school level, how to bring ethics, introducing ethics AI since the school level of the students. Yeah, basically 5 of us, we try to get knowing each other and also learning from each other in that small group. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for sharing, Arif. We have room 3, 4, and 6 left. We are only 2 minutes away from ending the session, but we want to hear from everyone, and also our last inspirational remarks from one of the advisors. Our sincere apologies for running over time, but if you could stay, we will really appreciate it. With that, who is going to speak next from either group 3, 4, or 6?
I can dare to speak for group 4, if that's okay.
Yes, of course.
Super. Okay. It was a wonderful discussion. So first we made very quick introductions. I will just group the answers quickly rather than go at individuals. So from a European perspective, so first we spoke about the global perspectives and how they are integrated. So from European perspective, there was a call for a more critical social constructivist lens on AI in education, and a kind of a foregrounding of how cultural viewpoints are shaped by power relations. So there's that political, economic understanding of AI through policymaking, how that gets integrated into education. There was also from the EU, kind of Southern Europe, EU perspective, work along AI literacy and explainable AI in higher education curricula, and integration efforts that are aiming more at cultural neutrality through AI. So basically, the idea is the global perspective is more on how to integrate, how to prepare teachers and students to use it critically rather than focus on individual cultural perspectives. And then from the Asian colleagues, we had 2 representatives who highlighted the quest to boost teaching and learning quality through AI with a strong appetite to learn about global risk frameworks. There was a very good point around the difference between how China, for example, prioritizes hands-on implementation, the integration of AI into society in different sectors, which can kind of clash a little bit with the EU ethical guardrails, the risk-averse that comes mainly from European perspective. And there was a stress on the need to share implementation philosophies and long-term visions across the different regions. So this collaborative platform is the right place to discuss those differences. I also personally added to the contribution by speaking more on the philosophy as a standpoint, and these are the things that matter, that specifically human values, understanding, and cultures always come before any kind of technologies, and that should be an understanding and a global perspective to be discussed before we talk about any kind of tools and technologies that we want to engage with or integrate. And in terms of philosophy, there's a global perspective should be enriched by discussing, Eurocentrism, Confucianism, what are the different values that different cultures are putting in place, and then how are these technologies integrating into those values. In terms of the challenges that we wanted to explore, again, from European perspective, there was to ensure a consistency of critical approach to inquiring, interrogating power structures and AI adoption. So the critical perspective is a very strong thing. Learning to critique and to be critically thinking about these technologies. From Southern Europe perspective, and again, EU Central, it was focused on helping teachers to cultivate this kind of critical thinking while working within a culturally agnostic, again, AI literacy framework, something that is all-inclusive. From the Asian perspective, we had the effort to deepen understanding of AI risks, to elevate educational quality, and to reconcile divergent ethical standards and stages of implementation. Again, this distinction between the risk averse and the stressing on ethical aspects versus let's implement, let's be practical on how do we integrate these tools. And then I also contributed to this by talking about that we need to think of inclusivity as a holistic thing, not as a digital first, but rather value education for its own sake, regardless of whether there are any digital tools or not. And not to think that we should default by the digital only. That is truly not an inclusive option. So that's a challenge that we should balance and discuss. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Feli. Very comprehensive notes, and thank you for sharing everyone's point of views. Now we will hear from the remaining groups. We have 2 groups left. You have 1 minute each. We have group 6 and then 3.
Maybe I will make an attempt for group 6.
Yes, David. Thank you.
So we have a very interesting group of people from very diverse countries, from Vietnam, from Cambodia, Thailand, UK, Finland, of course, Singapore. And we are also working in different kind of university settings. We have people from library science. We have people who are doing work, for example, in the university, but working on teacher research, really in promoting teacher research. And of course, for me from NIE, we're working, and another colleagues, we are working on teacher education, also doing research for K-12 teaching and learning. We have a talk about some of the similar topics, like, for example, AI as an epistemic technology and the importance of considering the critical aspects and so on. We also talk about other interesting things, such as promoting teachers' voice in terms of using AI, and also getting teachers to work in collaboration rather than in isolation. So in that regards, we also take note of the concurrent session of the class night, the teacher track as well, which is efforts try to address this challenge. We also talk about the effective use of AIED, despite that, for example, there's a fantastic development, for example, in ChatGPT, but there are still a lot of limitations. For example, just a very simple primary school mathematics word problems. If you ask ChatGPT or another AI technology to generate a graphical representation of this very simple word problem, you will find that the graphical representation being generated is not meaningful, is not usable for classroom instruction. Right, so there's still a long way to go in terms of making AI work for teaching and learning. Of course, we also talk in the final few minutes, talk about the library science and the library in terms of how do we make it more useful for education, teaching, and learning, and in the way that how library are transforming in different countries as well. Not just a place where you borrow books and retrieve papers, but really a place for learning and for knowledge exchange. Yeah, so these are some of the things we discussed. Thank you.
Thank you so much, David. Thank you for highlighting teachers' voice, because that's very important for ASEEClassnet's work. Now the last group, then we will invite our advisor, Professor Marcus Pedaste, to give his closing remarks. So the last group, who is the representative? Anyone from, I think this is group 3, Anna Mota, Guangling Chen, Li Wen, Omar, and Seng Chitan. Okay, no worries. I think if you would like, you can also type your responses in the chat box, if that's okay. We are running over time, and again, our sincere apologies. But we really appreciate you staying with us for a longer time. Now it is my pleasure to invite Professor Marcus Pedast. He is the professor for educational innovation and technology, and also head of Pedagogicam at the Institute of Education in University of Tartu, Estonia. Professor Marcus Pedast, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Jyoti. Thank you all. Welcome from my side as well, and apologies that I couldn't join the session at the beginning because of my teaching responsibilities at the University of Tartu, where I'm working. I am so happy to see so many people involved in this interesting, valuable journey. And what we have discussed in the previous years is that the journey could be especially valuable if we can contribute in giving feedback to each other, to learning, and we learn from each other, and we have very concrete aims to achieve something. In Estonian context, maybe you have heard about this. We have that kind of recent statewide initiative, like that's called AI Leap, Artificial Intelligence Leap, where at the statewide level, it is planned that all schools will be equipped with AI technologies. And the focus is mainly on teacher competencies, how to use technology, but not only how to use, how to understand technology and how to understand human in the context of using technologies, what kind of challenges there are, and what kind of solutions there are to mitigate all those challenges. That's why I, as a professor at the university, really value and highlight that kind of research-centered approach to understand the meaning of technology in our work, including AI, and also the meaningful use of it, and assessment of the outcomes, effect on humans, effect on human competencies, anxiety-related questions, and so on, collaboration-related questions. So that's why I believe that among those projects, what you are planning currently, we will have very useful ones who that could really contribute in this international shared goal we have. So that I wish you all the best, and I am happy to learn more about the projects, to give advice to different projects, so that it will be our shared journey at the end. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Professor Pedast, for such thoughtful remarks, and also for setting the set as well for our fellows today. We deeply appreciate your time as well. Thank you for making time to join the session today. Now I'm going to briefly share my screen to just give you an update about what's next, so that everybody is prepared. We have a series of webinars for school collaboration. Last year, we did it together with our faculty collaboration participants. However, we realized that since most of you are academics and researchers yourself, we kept these webinars optional for you. So if you have time and capacity, you can join live. We will share the link in an email, or you can watch the recording, which we will also share through email updates. And then our cross-faculty session 1 will be on Thursday, 22nd May. So basically all the faculty sessions are on Thursday. And with that, thank you very much. But before you go, we actively write about our activities, and also we'd like to highlight your work. So please, you can follow us on our social media channels, and also I will be adding those of you who have LinkedIn on LinkedIn so that I can tag you as well in our post. So please look out for a notification from me if we are not already connected, and then please, if it's okay with you, accept the request. I hope we had a great start today, and I hope that we all are going to have an inspiring journey, and we together we will produce great work to drive AI and education innovation meaningfully to the right direction. Our apologies again for running over time. We usually always keep our sessions within time. Today was a bit different, so sincere apologies. Since we didn't have time for question and answer, what we are going to do, we will stay here, stay back, and in case if if there are any urgent questions, those of you who have questions can stay back, and then we can support you as well. And also, if I may request our advisors to stay back, that would be great. Thank you so much again. Have a lovely evening in Asia and a great day in Europe. Thank you.